Hello, math class. It's time to start lesson 11.2, the second lesson in chapter 11, Federal Income Taxes. In this lesson, we will be learning the following vocabulary: the IRS, your AGI, your taxable income, how to look at a tax table, to figure out your filing status, and how to calculate if someone's going to get a refund or if you still owe tax money. So as we look at page 214 and 215, it starts off with the Internal Revenue Service. The IRS collects federal income tax. The IRS is an internal revenue service for the federal income tax. Tax receipts are primarily used for social and defense programs and to pay interest on the national debt. That's what your tax monies are going toward. Then it talks about your adjusted gross income, your AGI, which stands for adjusted gross income. You take your gross income, which we learned how to do in the previous lesson, and you're going to take away, subtract any adjustments, and that's your adjusted gross income is gross income minus adjustments. Then we also need to calculate your taxable income. Taxable income is your AGI, gross minus adjustments, and then you're also going to take any deductions or exemptions off. Next class, we will look at the form of how you figure all this out. We're just doing the math part of the lesson today. Just know that taxable income is your IGA, your gross after adjustments, minus your adjustments, and then you're also going to take away deductions and exemptions. Just know the vocabulary at this point. Okay? And then as we move on to example 2, we're going to look at a tax table. And this is a small one with a very low income configuration. And when you look at your tax tables, you find your income in the first 2 columns where your income falls after that number and before that number. Then you look at your filing status. Your filing status is important because depending on which filing status you choose, you'll be paying more or less taxes. Are you single, married filing jointly, married filing separately, or a head of household? So there's different choices to make. Of course, it's simple if you're married. If you're single, you're single. Or you could be head of household, I guess, or the married options with head of household options. So when we get down to example 2, that's important if you're looking at the filing status and your income. It's kind of like a graph. You have to look across and down the right column. Then, when you know your taxable income and know how much taxes you owe, you can figure out if you're going to get a refund or if you're going to have to owe the federal government more money. And depending on your philosophy, your parents, and what decisions you make, usually people have more deductions or more taken out of their weekly paychecks so that at the end of the year they can get a refund. But you want to balance that because you don't want so much money. You're giving your money to the federal government for a year and then refunding it back. You want a nice balance. It's horrible to have to owe money, so you want to balance the amount your employer's taking out of every paycheck that's close to your the tax that you will owe, and then hopefully at the end you get a little refund. So those are some of the things that we're going to be working through today. For discussion, it asks, how can two people with the same taxable income pay different taxes? Because of the filing status. Filing status is the component that says single, married, or head of household. And there's different tax brackets, you may have heard that term, for the amount of money you owe if you make this much and you're single, or if you're married filing jointly. Those are different amounts. So now we're ready to jump into the exercises 1 through 11. 1 through 7 actually has 2 answers. And when you go into the pod to do this, I have 1A and 1B. So for the first 3, they're asking for the adjusted gross income, the AGI, and the taxable income for that scenario. I'm going to work through number 1 for you so you can see how to plug in those numbers, and then you'll do 2 and 3 on your own. So number 1, we have a gross income of $20,876. We're going to take that number and then subtract the $1,500, which is the adjustments. AGI equals gross minus adjustments. So take 20,876 minus 1,500. And that is your AGI. Your first answer for number 1A, AGI equals, your answer is $19,000, 376. Then we need to find the taxable income. To find the taxable income, you already have the answer plugged into your calculator for the AGI. Now subtract the other 2 numbers, the exemption and the deduction. Minus deductions and exemptions, which would be minus 2,500 and minus 3,900. Your answer for number 1B, taxable income, is $12,976. That should plug in number 1 pod A and B. That's how you're going to do number 2 and 3. AGI and taxable income on 2 different lines, questions 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B. Okay. Now, 4 through 7. You're going to use the tax tables on page 475 through 479 in the back of your book, not the little one on page 214, but you're going to have to flip clear through to the back of the tax table, okay? To figure number 8. Actually, you're not going to use that until number 8 through 11, okay? So we're going to do the taxable income and the tax owed. Actually, you will use that table for number 4. I'm going to go over that. I'm going to give you the answers for number 4 and then work 5, 6, and 7 out after you watch the video. So we're doing taxable income and tax owed this time. So if you are single, your gross income is $25,374. We're going to subtract the adjustments of $750. Now we have the IGA. Now we can subtract the deductions and the exemptions again, the $2,500 and the $3,900. We're going to subtract all 3 of those numbers to get number 4A's answer of $18,224. Now, that is your taxable income. We're going to plug that number into the tax table on page 475. When we turn back to 475, and actually on my in my book it's 473 to 475. So depending on which edition you have, it may be slightly different, but it's the tax table, federal income tax table is what you're looking for, and it's several pages long. Mine is page 473. The book says 475, so look around there to find the table. Now, the first information you're going to plug in to the bold numbers of the income. I have a taxable income of $18,224. When I look at my pages in the back of the book, I see on page 18,000 is in the middle of, okay, I'm on page 474, and then they put two pieces of paper on one page. Do you see that? And then down at the bottom it says tables 477. That's the table number, not the page number. So right in the middle, there's 9 blocks. Right in the middle it says 18,000. Do you see that? Okay. The taxable income is $18,224. That was your first answer to number 4. When I look through 18,000, 18,050, 18,200 through 250. So it's the fourth line down, 18,200, 18,250. Now, it says we're single, so when you come down the single column and across the 18,200 to 18,250, your tax owed, here's your second answer for number 4B, is $2,000, 2,000, comma, 734. And that's your answer for number 4B. And that's what you'll do for number 5, 6, and 7. You can do on your own. So you take your gross income minus the other 3 numbers listed, your adjustments. Now you have your AGI, and then go ahead and subtract the other 2. You subtract all 3 to get your taxable income. Take that number, look at the table in the back, make sure you know number 5 is married filing separately, not single, so it's going to change the column you look in to get the tax owed. How much money do you owe? Those are the 2 answers: A, taxable income, B, tax owed, for 5, 6, and 7. Now, for 8 through 11, how much tax is owed or how much of a refund can be expected in these 4 scenarios. So now, number 8, I'm going to go ahead and do that with you. I'm going to give you the answer for number 8, and then you're going to do the other 3 on your own. It says that the tax withheld, so this is the tax that has already been taken away from you and given to the IRS. The tax withheld is $2,110.35. The actual tax you owe, which means the number that they've looked up in the tax table. They're already doing that work for you. The actual tax owed is $2,407. Now, this is how much is already in the IRS. This is how much you owe. You're going to do a subtraction problem. And here's what I suggest. On your calculator, it doesn't matter, when you're in elementary school, you take the big number minus the little number to get the answer. But in this case, you still have to figure out then, is that a refund? Or is that, do you still owe the IRS more money? If you plug it in every time as the tax withheld is the money that the IRS already has, plug that number in, then subtract how much I really owe. If the answer comes out as a negative number, which this will because you only paid in $2,110, you owe $2,407. So if you get a minus as your answer, that means you owe $296.65. Your answer for number 8 is the word owe or refund and $296.65. That's your answer for number 8. For number 9, you will have refund or owe as your first answer, space, and then the amount of your refund or how much you owe. So in each of these categories, you're going to plug in the numbers in order the way they are in the book. The tax withheld minus the actual tax. If it is a negative number, it will be how much you still owe. If it's a positive number, it'll be a refund of that amount. Okay, so now you can go ahead and do number 9, 10, and 11. Your answers will be a word, space, and then the amount of money. You owe, for number 8, you owe $296.65. For number 9, I'll give you a hint. The tax withheld is more than the actual tax. So when you plug in tax withheld minus actual tax, you're going to get a positive number. When you get a positive number, you're going to put the word refund and the amount of your answer. So that's a little hint. If that's still confusing to you, email me and we can do a small video chat just to make sure you're plugging that in and understanding that concept of you have an answer, but do you owe the money or is it a refund? Okay. See how those questions go? And I don't want you to move forward unless you have fixed your mistakes in the previous section. So we have 11.1 and 11.2 up and ready to go. I have the date of Friday. This is Wednesday. These 2 lessons are due Friday. That'll give us a catch-up day to exchange emails, do a video chat, and get everybody ready for lesson 3. I will post Monday, 2 or 3 lessons for Wednesday. My plan is to have assignments due Wednesdays and Fridays. That gives you the option of which day is better compared to your other assignments and your workload. All right. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.